Yes, you have.
Yay, that's great. That's great news for everyone. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here, folks. This is my first presentation of 2022, and I live to speak and share. I'll give you a bit about me, a bit about my past, my sordid past. I'm an award-winning television producer of over 20 years, and I've done pretty much everything in the industry other than feature films. So from 19 years of age, I was working in industry. I've done commercials, music videos. I've done oil and gas up in Fort McMurray. I was a weather girl. I was an entertainment reporter. And in the last 8 years of my career, I spent on a show called Blackstone as co-executive producer. So second from the top, overseeing a cast and crew of 500 people shot in the Edmonton area. And what's really cool is we were nominated for what is the Emmy of Canada. So our awards are not called the Emmys, they're called the Canadian Screen Awards. And we were nominated for Best Dramatic Television Series up against Stargate and Rookie Blue and Saving Hope and Orphan Black. And it was kind of this surreal, amazing career. And when that came to an end in its 5th and final season, which if anyone knows Canadian television, 5 seasons is a long time unless it's your heartland. I needed to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up in my mid-30s. And so I actually had a mentor in my life who was amazing and had the foresight to see that video was going to be where it was at. He couldn't have predicted a pandemic, but what he did do is he said that people would be doing video from within their own fold. People would be communicating via video. People would be marketing via video, doing grant applications with video. Video would be the way we communicate. And so here we are. Now, in that course of that time, I was lucky enough to follow his advice and be standing on a skyscraper saying, everybody needs video. And of course, in March of 2020, I needed to come down to ground zero where, in fact, everybody really needed help. And that this video thing became a very real deal, as we can even see with technical issues, 22 months later, that it's sometimes daunting, it's overwhelming, it's technical, and it's something that we all need to embrace above and beyond everything that we're already doing. So I live and breathe this. I have been shooting videos since I was 10 years old with my grandma and grandpa's VHS camcorder that I could barely hold. Commercials and music videos with my cousins in my very large Ukrainian family, because as everyone knows, we're like rabbits. And I think it's in my blood. I really do. So basically through Modern Muse Media and starting my company, I decided to take 20 years of experience in the vast fields of film and television and to actually empower folks to be able to create video from within and to be able to do these speaking seminars and webinars and such in order to be able to provide people with some real tangible takeaways that they could apply in that moment or after that hour that I spend with you, feeling more confident about how they do video and how they look and appear on video. So that's what I'm going to take you through today. And it's going to be so much fun and it's going to be interactive. And I'm going to ask you to turn on your cameras if you don't. I am going to be doing some calibration. And what that means is I'm going to be talking a bit about how we show up in our rectangles and how we can actually, some tips and tricks for shooting on your phone and those takeaways. So by no means am I shaming. We've already covered this, but I want if I'm saying something that you're doing in your rectangle or that you maybe aren't doing right or as professionally as you can, this is not critiquing you. This is just sharing of information. And I like to say that because sometimes I've mentioned some things and people go and like they shut off their camera and they're like, oh my gosh, she's talking about me. And it's like, no, I'm talking about everybody because that's why I'm here. So I am here to help today. And yes, I am pretty much always like this. So enjoy and hopefully I better your day in some way. So get visible, get video. What does that mean? Well, people don't read so good no more, folks. No, we are not reading. We are consuming content by watching. Now, we will read sometimes if there's closed captions or graphics on the screen, which is a requirement of posting video these days, but mostly we are consuming content in a visual way, and we're used to that content coming at us at a very fast pace. So if anybody has watched television with a teenager as of late, you'll know that likely the TV is on, but the laptop is also open and the phone is going. And you're like, how can you even possibly? But the news is in, folks. We have the attention spans less than that of a goldfish. You have less than 6 seconds to capture people's attention. And hopefully I've captured yours today, and you'll learn some ways that you can reapply that to what you do. So let's dive right in. As I mentioned, it's interactive, and we'll be here for the full hour with you. There'll be time for questions and such, but I'd love to just do a really quick round table, because it's a small group and I can only do this when I do smaller sessions, as to what is the biggest thing that is daunting or overwhelming about video. What's holding you back, if there is anything, from video? And I'm just going to call you out, and if you can turn your video on or unmute or whatever works for you. So let's start with Christy.
Sure. So I would say from a professional side, just, we would do a lot of video for talking to researchers and helping them explain to donors the impact of their gift. So I would say the biggest barrier would be, how do I even start that interview? How do I even get in front of those researchers? What am I filming? Like, just the talking head can get kind of boring. What else should I be showing a donor? How do I make it like that 6-second grab and that really just 30-second story?
Definitely. Top trend. So this is something to write down. Top trend of 2022. I did a big presentation in December and got all of this information to share with you guys today, is short form videos. And I will be diving into that a little bit deeper. Short form videos. What does that even mean? I will tell you. Leona. From your bike.
So excuse me for huffing and puffing. I think it is the same as what Christy said, is keeping it short, like getting the message out. I mean, I guess that's the same in all written communications. All communications is being succinct, but getting it out.
Totally. Barb, how about you?
Much the same as what Leona was saying, just, with such a short time period, how do you manage and how do you strategize to get that information quickly and have it understood, I guess.
Definitely. Stacy.
We're lucky in itself that, we have a team that help us with our marketing department and from the video side of things. But for me, it's that balance of the raw and the rehearsed, or the, in lack of it, real and rehearsed, that fine line, because I feel, that's sometimes really hard to get through.
Definitely. And if anybody knows who Gary Vee is, who's the head of kind of social media and social media video, he will talk about documenting versus creating. So that rough and raw and genuine behind the scenes is something that we're craving more of these days. Authenticity. Yes, I get on my elliptical and have phone calls and tell people that's the real me. And if there is something that's good, and there are a few things that came from the pandemic, is that we are gracing each other with the acceptance of being human. And that includes on video. So the stumbles, the flaws, the trips, the whatever just become that much more accessible, because if you're doing it, then I can do it too. And it gives me permission to not be perfect. And so I will talk about that as well, that genuine and authentic is actually what people are craving and consuming right now. And I don't think that's going away. Sarah.
Yeah, you've just captured what I was going to say is, I want to be able to be authentic, right? Especially nowadays with our, social media accounts and Insta, Facebook, Gram, how do we present ourselves in that true form? So, people can see that real you, that authenticness, and be able to connect. So I'm looking forward to getting some tools for that toolbox.
You bet. There are two folks that have called in, so I'm not sure, but I can see, I'm not sure by names. I think one of them is Kat, and we can't hear her. So Kat knows all about it and has seen you present before, but there's IMAD. And am I saying that correctly? IMAD? IMAD? And it's silence, not even crickets. Okay, well, you know what? Why don't we answer some questions for you and dive right in, and I will start with the slideshow presentation here. And hopefully technology actually works for me today because we all struggle, there's no question. Let me move you guys over here and I'll go into present mode for you. There we go. No, that doesn't look like present mode. Are you guys seeing the slide?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Okay, good. So you're seeing the get visible, get video? Or are you seeing the speaker's nose?
Sorry, I was just trying to find my
Slide 1.
I am seeing slide 1 of 21, speaker notes.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. See? It happens to everybody. All right, so get visible, get video, some steps to creating great video. Okay, so we're not going to spend too long on here. Some of these stats are even out of date since the pandemic because they have increased significantly. But let's just pull out a couple of juicy ones here. And this is from 2020 yet, at the beginning of 2020. So 92% of users are watching video on mobile. So definitely something to be mindful of is to ensure that your content is mobile friendly. And 78% of people watch videos online. Videos under 2 minutes get the most engagement, and we're seeing an increase in that. So basically, we're going to skip past this and say videos where it's at. You guys know that. We all know that it's not going away. All right, tips. Here's some takeaways right off the bat. All right, what's your story? So this is something that you guys were specifically asking about. We want to keep it simple. We want to keep it short. And there's power in storytelling. But how do you do that in a short amount of time? So let's start with that, okay? So this can be achieved, but you need to put your most engaging stuff at the beginning and think about something that's a tease or a did you know, or I can't believe I heard this, or, right? And so rather than starting and going, hello, today I'm going to be talking about this snail. This is my pet snail, and my pet snail is the most important thing to me in the whole entire world. You would start with, my pet snail races my dog. Okay, if you're watching Turbo and I have a small child, this could be a real thing. It's not real, but you know what I mean. You want to start with something that's captivating or start with something that is interesting. This can also be a visual. Now, when you're doing videos, and I think it was Christy that mentioned that we don't want it to just be a talking head. So that's when you would actually learn to incorporate in something called B-roll. And B-roll is the footage that you have over top of you talking that is visually stimulating, that is captivating, that is that video of your snail racing your dog and you're saying the statement and people are seeing this and they're like, click, wait a minute, I need to find out more. So that you have to come out with your best. Now, can you share a story in under 30 seconds? Absolutely. Absolutely you can. It is a bit of a switch in your mindset because we are kind of used to elongating things and providing all of this extra detail. But what we do need to get used to is providing the notes, providing the beginning, middle, end. And then now with the attention, we want to add a teaser into that. So your story structure of anything, even if it's 30 seconds or less, is going to be teaser, beginning, middle, end. And when you talk about beginning and middle and end, you want to always think about somebody, something, even if it's the object, overcoming something. So you talk about in, main school marketing, pain points, right? So your beginning and middle end, your teaser would be She did it and she couldn't even believe she did. Wait till you find out what. And then the story, the beginning, middle, end is going to be, we started out in a pandemic. We didn't think we were going to be able to reach a lot of people, but through a campaign that was through crowdfunding, we set it up and we were able to get everybody reach out, and we raised over $100,000. Okay, so what was the challenge? You have a teaser. This is what happened. Couldn't believe it. Then you have the challenge, which was the pandemic. How are you going to reach people through crowdfunding and the spreading of the word and use of social media or whatever the case, the solution, and then you overcame. And there is the end story. This is what you did. This was the win, right? So anytime you're thinking about any scenario, and it's really interesting, and we do this on a regular basis, we work with our clients to workshop this kind of thing and brainstorm, you can apply that. You can take the scenario and go, okay, what is the challenge that some of our what do we face to get donors? What do we face to get money? What are some of the challenges? And then what's a success story? How do you overcome? And let's share that. They can be a part of this picture, just like this person was. They can be a part of raising this money, just like this organization was. Look at how happy they were to be a part of something like this. But definitely keeping it simple and keeping it short. So when I talked about doing that research for that presentation, it is definitely something that is going up exponentially. And that is, believe it or not, and I couldn't even believe it, but we ourselves are just starting to embrace the TikToks, the Instagram Reels, the short form storytelling. And that is because that's how people are consuming content. So if you have something that's 5 to 10 minutes long, they're going to feel the same way that you do when you look at an article or a blog and it says 35-minute read and you have 10 minutes to spare. You're going to click X, you're going to pass it because I don't have 35 minutes to do this read, but you bet that I'm going to squeeze in that 8-minute read because I can do that, because I can conquer that, because I can accomplish that. And when people embark on a task, they want to be able to complete it, right? So it's the same thing with video. We don't want to put a whole bunch of long, detailed content up because people will look at that runtime and they'll go, well, I'm not going to have time to finish this anyway, right? So short form, powerful, power of storytelling, which can be applied to every concept. I haven't spoken in a while, guys. My throat's dry. All right. So pro tip. The most, if it wasn't clear, I'll do it one more time. The most common mistake I see when presenting on video or when shooting videos is that people are not speaking directly to the camera. And it seems so simple. It seems so simple. But it's not, because I have done this for 6 years now, training people, workshops, training programs, and they'll be like, oh, come on, that seems pretty straightforward. I'm not looking at myself. You know, when you take a selfie, you're looking at yourself. I can almost guarantee it. Most people are looking at themselves. You want to look directly into the lens. I actually have a sticker that's a set of eyes around my camera, because when I started presenting, I'm used to speaking on stages and to people and to have them react. And so I actually put that set of eyes for me to look at and connect with in my camera to remind me to look here, because that is the way you transcend the lens. So of course, by that, I mean, when I'm looking at you, I want you to feel like I'm talking to you across the table of a boardroom or in a coffee shop. I'm looking at you when I do video because I'm sharing my message with you, not my screen. As soon as you start talking to your screen and looking at yourself, you're actually disengaging with the audience. And they're wondering what you're looking at because it sure ain't them. But when you re-engage and make that eye contact, then suddenly you're connecting. And that's what we all want. That's what we all need, especially now, is connection. And have notes, but not a script, unless you can memorize it fluidly. So this is something that I see often as well, is that folks will have their sticky notes and they'll have for their piece of paper and they'll have everything written out and they will be doing their video and I'm ready to do my video. And this has to do with the genuine and authentic part of this conversation. And it's like, but it's got to be perfect. And I have to say everything verbatim. And so they have their piece of paper, and their piece of paper becomes like Linus. It is their blue security blanket that they will not let go of. I've done a lot of interviews, and everyone comes in, and I say everyone comes in with their blue blanket, and they've got their notes and they're ready. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm prying the paper out of their hand because they want it there to reference and they want it there to read. But the problem again is when you're reading, whether it be a piece of paper that's up posted to the side of your camera, which if it's notes is fine to reference because you can get that direct connection. But if you have a set of notes full and detailed, you're going to end up reading off of them. And then when you are presenting something or recording something, if it's on Zoom or on your phone, you are going to be snuggling up to that blanket oh so tightly because that blanket is there, and you are going to lean on it because you have it, even though you know exactly what you're talking about and you could actually look to the camera. So it's very important to have notes rather than a full and detailed script that you're reading from, because you'll see that in so many videos, I'm sure, where they're not really even, they don't even sound like they know what they're talking about. They're reading what they're talking about. Make sense? All right, so this is the power of story and how to deliver it effectively to connect with the audience. Any questions so far? Do we have a question? Yes, I agree, no scripts. Okay, cool. All right, moving on. Location and framing. All right. Okay, so there's no shaming here. I'm telling you, this is something that most people do, and then I've seen. I'd like to say I've seen it all, and then I see more, and it's all fun, and I love all of this so much. Okay, so this is a medium frame, just like I am framed there. I'm framed in my office right now. I'm at home, and I am framed with the logo that is on the wall over my shoulder. So it's a nice medium frame. Why is a medium frame important? A medium frame is important is because this is how we exist in real life. So whether we really realize it or not, most of the conversations that we have with folks are in a medium frame, right? So you're sitting down across from somebody at the dinner table at the boardroom, they're in a medium frame, right? So we want to be framed properly, because what we're trying to do, again, anytime we're doing video, is we are trying to transcend the lens. We're trying to get through and connect with the folks on the other side, whatever message we have. So framing becomes really important, okay? So there are many different things that we're seeing on a variety of Zoom calls, and I'm also seeing it when we shoot on our phones. And women, especially, because I work with women often, how we love to do the higher angle. We know it's a bit more flattering, but we want to make sure we don't go too high up. And I'll share with you why. Because when you are eye level, you are on that same plane. So let's look at a few of the framing faux pas, okay? So sometimes we're seeing folks a little bit too close. So I apologize in advance. I am over 40, but I'm gonna get up close and personal. So sometimes we see the folks and they're joining in really, really close. And sometimes they're on their phone, and their phone is really, really close, and they're taking us on a tour, like the Blair Witch Project of their home, and they're following along, and you can see up their nose because the angle is probably down here, right? This is not where we want to be properly framed. We want to be properly framed with our head and shoulders here. The opposite is true with the folks that sit quite a ways back. So when we go back here and we're kind of in the corner, and sometimes and most often they're quite dark, it's quite dark, we're not able to make that connection. And we're kind of wondering why somebody is in the corner of their screen and why they're so far away and what they're doing. And if they're in the witness protection program, and if they are, they probably shouldn't be on a Zoom call, okay? Safety is sexy. Turn your video off. So we want to be medium framed. This is where it's at. This is what we're trying to not manipulate, parallel from an in-person experience. The same is true with angle. So angle is very, very important. So oftentimes, so I'm standing in my kitchen right now, or my dining room area, with a beautiful Giselle Demy painting behind me. If you don't know who that is, she's a local artist who's amazing. And my computer is actually on a good old banker's box. Life hack. It's on a banker's box because when I present, I move around, I need to shift my computer, I need space, I talk with my hands, and I like to be standing. So in order to get eye level, I have it on a banker's box. If I take it off the banker's box, then my computer comes down here and I would be talking to you guys like this. Now, this is that low angle, and we often see even the slightest tweak. Sometimes it's even just here, right? But when we raise to eye level, then we're speaking, we're transcending to the lens. Everything that I'm sharing with you also applies to when you're doing videos, when you're posting to Insta, what did she say? Instafacegram? That was awesome. Anyway, this is a lower angle, it's coming up. So what this does is it makes your audience feel like you're superior to them and you're talking down to them. This isn't the way you want to get your message across. The same is true with that higher angle, except it's opposite. So when you frame high and you tilt down, what it can do is it can create that you're inferior, that they're looking down on you. And so that's why I say be very careful about that angle that you choose, because you don't want to create yourself in an inferior position when you're trying to message. So eye level is the best place to be. And here we are. Isn't that so interesting? So I've had just different workshops and sessions where I've had people workshop this and just tilt their computer, or I say, go grab a couple of binders or something and lift your computer up, or tilt your camera down, or put your camera on something else. This is, a lot of this stuff is playing with the setting and environment that you're in. And I've heard a lot over the last couple of years, you know, being in the basement, I got pushed down to the basement. How do I create something from this, right? But it's just a matter of tweaking and shifting around to try to create these ideal scenarios. What platform you're shooting for becomes really, really important. All right, we're gonna get interactive here. Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing a few of you, not all of you, but if you're at home and you can hear me, then I'd like you to grab your phone. Everybody grab your phone and hold it up for me in your rectangle, please. Awesome. Okay, yes, this is the way we hold our phones, right? This is the way we're used to grabbing our phones, taking pictures with our phones. All right, now everybody follow with me. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, yeah, and 5, that's right, 6, sweat it out, 7, and 8. Now, hopefully I embed that in your memory by my Jane Fonda workout with you here today, in that when you're shooting video, you want it to be like this for the most part, unless you are doing stories, reels, that kind of thing. You will be like this, and that's stories and reels are getting a little bit more advanced. But when you are shooting a video, you're looking into the lens, which is typically on the top middle. Don't be afraid to ask any questions, because I have heard it all. I have had somebody not know where to find the camera on their phone. That is okay. But when you shoot video, selfies on yourself, putting it on a stand, whatever that looks like, you want to remember Jesse, flip your wrist. Second most common mistake, shooting for the wrong platform. So as you will see often on Facebook and LinkedIn, the videos are going to be this aspect ratio, and they're going to be cutting off the sides. And professional video is shot HD in this rectangle, and you're going to want to turn it this way in order for you to capture yourself delivering your message. Where are you delivering it to? Not everybody all at once. Into the lens. Yeah, that's right. Good job, guys. Okay, moving on. Okay, and the distance between the camera and subject, which we talked about. So that was really, really close and really, really far away. So that all has to do with framing You don't want to be too far away and you don't want to be too up close because people will actually feel the need to kind of back away. Lighting. All right, this is fun. This is fun. And anybody can achieve great lighting from no matter where they are at. I've done it. I've done it with folks, and I'm going to show you some practical, tactile stuff here right now. All right, I am in my dining room. It is a pretty dark, overcast day, and I have some natural light coming in from this side. I have some artificial light coming in, and light that's already present. Ambient light, I guess, would be this. So we're going to turn this on. Okay, we're going to play. So lighting becomes about play. So the first thing that I want you to do is you have a light over your head. You can see that it's going to create something called a hot spot. So we don't want a light over top of our head, right over top of our head. If it's a little bit behind us, then that's okay. This is not. This is right above me. So you can see that the feature, so the eye will automatically go to where it's brightest on the screen. This is something that's real. So right now, whereas you were looking at my face and my face was the brightest, I'm looking a little off in color and the top of my head is very, very bright. So let's get rid of some ambient lights. Okay. Actually, let's stop sharing. So you guys can see me full screen. Okay. So now we're nice and pretty even on both sides, but that's because I have some artificial light. And if I shut the artificial light off here, it's going to look like this. So one little tool that I think was 30 bucks creates that kind of significant change. So what tool is it? It is a regular ring light. We'll bring it in to show you guys. Okay. So it's a little fun guy that looks like this, right? And I'm going to also give you guys a little life hack here for anybody who has glasses. So anybody that's purchased a ring light and they get that ring light reflection in their glasses and they're like, that's all I see is that ring light reflection. What you want to do is when you purchase a ring light stand, there's one, you can get the option of having it separated like this. And I bought this just for this demonstration purposes and also because it works well with my light. But you can put your phone right in here and then you have that even light on your face. But when you have glasses, this shows as a reflection onto your glasses. So you want to put it down here. You're likely going to need to raise the light and tilt it down. So when you tilt the light down on you and then you look in here, then the light becomes a bit above you. You're still getting fills in your face, which is what you want, but then you're not getting that reflection on your lens, right? So let's turn this on again and just play a little bit more with light. So everybody where you're at, you have access to all different kinds of light. And yes, definitely Amazon is where you can purchase the light. And there's also some local places, I think even the Best Buys and a couple of audio visual shops. McBain, I believe, is selling ring lights. They've become in demand, so they're kind of everywhere. I'm answering the question in the chat on the fly here. Okay, so let's turn it back on. Woo! Okay, so we don't want this, right? And we don't want it on one side because it could look like we're in a really scary movie. Let's do a Blair Witch reference again. We want it nice and diffused. So we're going to put it back here where I had it, where it fills in the frame. Nice, right? But I also have my blinds closed on this side. So that's how I'm able to create this kind of balanced look. Now, there's 3 color temperatures on lights. You don't have to be a professional videographer and photographer to see that there's this color, orange. So if Christy was bringing in a ring light right now, she has some kind of natural light that she's working with that has a bit more of an orange tone. I can see that on her face. So she would maybe use this setting to fill in any shadows or anything like that because it would be matching the light. Again, you don't need to be an expert. In fact, you just need to be able to see what feels good to you. Okay, so this doesn't match this. You can see that this looks blue-ish and shadowed now, yes? And this is orange. It's not a match. Now I look like a Smurf. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Okay. And there we go. Okay. And then we go with this. So this is the light I had it on. And then you can change the saturation. And by that, I mean, you can make it a little bit less. My camera is adjusting as I'm playing here. And you can make it a bit brighter. Now you can see as soon as you start getting those like white spots in your skin, that's called hot spot. That's too hot. So I want to come down a bit. Now my blind is closed, but if I were to open the blind, that changes things up. So I'm opening my blind to let in a whole bunch of natural light. Now that changes the game. So again, what we would probably need to do is bring the light over and be filling so it's playing. And you kind of play with your light in a bit of a semicircle, trying to use as much natural light. So natural light is your friend. Trying to use as much natural light as possible without overexposing. Now, because of the light temperature of this light, because it's overcast right now today, the best bet for me is to close the blinds because it's still bringing in enough light there. And to try and match this with this color temperature. And then, of course, letting my camera adjust as need be. So now this side has gotten a bit darker. But anyway, you see what I mean about lighting is about playing and using the different sources of lighting. So there's artificial, there's ambient, and there's natural. And the more natural light that you can get, the better. So oftentimes what I'm seeing is that when you have an office or home office and we are working from home, that the windows are behind or beside. And I've actually gone in and I've moved people's workstations around to actually face the window. Because when you're facing the window, you're getting that nice natural light in and around you. Now that option is not available to everybody, but that has been a solution in some cases where they're like, what do I do with this window? And it's like, face the music. You actually turn your station toward it and utilize the natural light, which is going to make. Now, if this isn't your workstation, and again, I said everything applies, all these concepts apply to when you're shooting video, then the same thing is true when you're shooting video on your phone. So guess what? We're going to get interactive again. I think I'm the most excited person in the room, which isn't rare. So I'm going to get you all to grab your phones. And I'm going to get you to do something called finding your light. So I'm going to show you something with my computer, and you're going to do this with your phone. So I am going to take my computer here. I'm going to move the ring light over so it doesn't fall. I'm going to take my computer and I'm going to show you finding your light. Okay. So this is as easy as grabbing your phone and doing a semicircle in the light. Now watch how the light changes on my face when I have a window behind me. Versus, my poinsettia is doing so well still, I know. How it looks when I actually face the window and see it on my face. And you can see my ring light in the background there, but there is natural light on my face. So the same can be true with your phone. So all of you are going to grab your phone and you're going to hold it like this. Yeah. Open the camera, turn it on a selfie setting. And I'd like you to just stand up and just semicircle in or circle 360 wherever you are and find your light. And it's when we have in-person events and you're hosting from a fundraising event or you're doing some social media, you're going to go into that room and you're going to do that 360 and everyone's going to wonder what the heck you're doing. You're going to find your light and you're going to love me in that moment. I know it because I have feedback. Yes, finding your light is the magic. So easy. You don't need a light stand to do this. You can be anywhere and find the best light in that situation. All right. Right on. Okay. Pretty spectacular, hey? How it's like, it's such a difference. And you saw that on my computer screen. It's just like, whoa, she looks terrible with those bags under her eyes when the window's behind her. I know. All right, moving on. Find your light. Okay. All right, the importance of sound. So I love to reference the Blair Witch Project, and I have so far, and I will, he will actually as well. But the importance of sound is something that blows people's minds, because I'm actually going to share with you that audio is actually more important than video. And no, I did not stutter. I'm a video television producer. Audio is more important than video, right? And I will show you why. So I'm gonna get you to watch a little excerpt of this video here.
All right, let's play a little bit of a game here. Imagine you're shooting a film or video and you have a choice to make between really good video quality and really good audio quality. Which do you choose? You'd be surprised how many people actually choose really good video and how this could probably be to their detriment. And we're going to show you two examples. First, really good audio, but really terrible video. So you can see with really terrible video how you can follow what I'm saying, how you can get into the story, despite the fact that the image has been degraded. Directors will use this creatively, like the Blair Witch Project, which is like an hour and a half of really terrible video, but the audio is so good, you can follow the story. Things change drastically when we switch that around. See how having good video and good audio is so super important.
All right, so super important. Now, coming back to the human experience, the genuine and authentic, and the grace that we've been given, you are no longer required, and I was, brought up this way, both in life and career, that we needed to hide the mic. I guess not in life. I wasn't mic'd as a child, just in career, that we needed to hide the mic. We always needed to hide the mic, and you needed this big 400 to 500 professional grade Rode mic. And that is no longer the case. So Christy, the headset that you're wearing, for example, is completely suitable for self-recording video. You see people with headsets all the time. I'm going to show you the difference in audio just from me presenting to me putting on headphones. Now, because I move and I do a lot of examples and I, again, use my hands, I don't necessarily have the headphones in, but I love to show the difference between what you've been listening to for the last 45 minutes, which is amazing, turn into even better when I have headphones in. So a little jack here, and here we go. That's the difference when I put a mic in, and you can probably hear that it isolates my audio. There's much less echo, and it is completely fine for me to record a video on my phone this way. Oh, getting that feedback again. Everybody mic or muted? Okay. And that's the significant difference of audio. So something as simple as a headset is fine, and it will 100% increase your production levels. It doesn't, even if you think that you're, well, I'm right up by the phone and I'm just doing this right into here and I can record my own audio. If you put on one of those pieces, and of course, if you have a regular headphone jack, there's this little dongle that for the iPhone folks, because Apple makes us crazy, but we buy it anyway, at least for me. And we can plug it in using that. But when we were recording video, we want to use a mic, very, very important. And we want to be mindful of the microphone position. So if we're using a headphone, making sure that there's a mic on there, because there's some headphones that don't have a mic. So do a test with a friend. You want to speak clearly and you want to be mindful of background noise. So, I mean, we're all juggling a lot right now. The kids at home and the pets and letting them out and all of the things. But if we are going to go do a video and record a video, we want to do it in a place where there's not a lot of background noise that you have to compete with. All right. Any questions so far about audio? Just looking at notes, brilliant example. Awesome. Wow, who knew? Yeah, I know. It's really, we we actually hear first. And so even when you guys are experiencing that feedback, right, it's just like, it's so deterring. So practicing good audio, making sure your audio is clear. And you know what, if somebody has bad audio, let them know. That's one thing that I always implore for people is please let folks know when they have bad audio, because they're there talking on Zoom calls and there's this huge hiss and it only comes on every time they talk. Be the person that adjusts their crown without other people watching. So it is very common, and that would be the third most common mistake. So third most common mistake, pro tip, make sure you have good audio. All right, guys, we're going to do a little recap here and then we'll have a Q&A. So here's a couple of tips to take with you that people often forget, and that just kind of is a quick oversight. So the lens. So we use these phones, we use these tools, which we shoot video on now, to answer with our makeup, and our kids have the peanut butter jelly fingers all over it, whatever the case may be. We're not cleaning our lenses before we go to shoot videos. So you'll see people that are fuzzy, or they look out of focus, or something's like ethereal about them. And yes, you are all heavenly, but you don't want to look like it in your videos. So you want to clean the screen. So making sure you're wiping this or wiping this when you go to shoot video, so that you got that clean, nice, crisp shot. That's what we want to see. Be mindful of what you're shooting for. So do you want to shoot vertical or horizontal? Most often you're going to be shooting horizontal. So flick that wrist, Jane Fonda it. You want to avoid digital zoom. So here's a little pro tip for you. We often at the kids' concerts and things like that, we have to kind of squeeze, pinch in to get closer, and you see that it all goes out of focus and it's foggy. If we do want to shoot a video, we move closer to the subject. If we're shooting ourselves, we make sure that we're framed in that medium shot, but you want to move in with your feet. Ensure you're capturing for sound. Audio is more important than video. Think about your framing and be intentional with what's in the background, and try to place your subject about 3 feet from the wall. So when you're talking about it, you don't want to be right up against the wall. You don't want to be tucked in the corner. Right? You don't want to be playing elevator. I mean, we can all have fun, but we want to be here in a medium shot and present for all to see, connect, and engage with. All right. So this is me. I am the CEO and founder of Modern Muse Media. We do video production and video training. And yeah, if you're interested, my actual direct email is jessie@modernmusemedia.ca. So I am here to help. I love taking calls with people and trying to come up with some solutions and honing in. It's my passion, in case you couldn't tell. Some really exciting news to share with you guys is that there's actually a grant that's available to my clients that they use for us to come in and do video training. Yeah. And my throat is dry. Question. I'm out of practice.
I see that Kat has a question.
All right. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Almost I've talked.
Phone.
Brand. Are we talking about brands?
Or sorry, I thought Kat was going. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Oh, yeah. So a question. You say to do it horizontal to record, but
yeah.
What if you need to have it like for Instagram, let's say, because if you take it horizontal, it sort of doesn't mush it up for any vertical options, or?
You bet. I've been a hermit, obviously, for like the last month, so pardon me for that. Dave, you had missed the part that absolutely the exception is Instagram stories and reels and such. So if you are more advanced, you're doing the TikToks and reels and things, we actually are launching a workshop in February for TikToks and reels, which we're really excited about. So you can also chat with me about that. But of course, you're shooting vertical for those platforms. It's being mindful of what platform. A lot of folks, though, are just shooting like this, shooting everything like this. And when you're on LinkedIn and Facebook, it is horizontal, it is HD. And so, of course, you're seeing the sides being cut off or blurred when you could be using that whole frame for information, right? Yeah, good question. Mic placement is important. Fixing your workspace matters far more than your gear. Yeah, I love that you noted that too, David, is that there are a lot of people when this started that went out and bought really expensive equipment, and they bought the big like Yeti mics and things. And and unfortunately, you know, for what we need to do in the day-to-day, it's so much power that what we were seeing and hearing, whether you realized it or not, is if that person was like tapping the desk with a pen or like shaking their foot or their knee hit the desk, the Yeti is so powerful on the table that we were actually hearing them writing, you know, like it was just way too much than what was needed. And of course, spending so much money when it's just not required. Like I said, this light here was $30. It was between 30 and 40, no more. And it is amazing. It does the trick and it fills in and it has the 3 settings. And of course it has the 2 stands. So rather than the brand, just pay attention to the features. So for example, the question about the mic and the light and the brand. This one is Tektronix. I am over 40. I think I need my glasses, but I think more so what you want to look for is the 2 stands. So like I said, you eliminate the ring light in the glasses if you have this lower bracket. That is important. A lot of folks for glasses. And it's also just nice to have the option to be able to raise the light. And the 3 color settings, temperatures is also, I think, a really good feature. Something else that's pretty standard, but I would watch for, and I'm going to unplug it now. So is that make sure it's not just on a regular plug. Most of them come on USBs. So you can always put the plug on this and plug it into a wall. But then if you want the ability to be able to plug it in your computer, if you have a wall outlet that's all jammed up and you need to be able to put it into the USB, then you have that ability. So I think watching for features rather than brand names would be my suggestion. And this seems to be a pretty good one. Oh, reliable, that's what I call her. I don't call it that at all. Should I just come up with that?
I think that's so brilliant. I know you had made a comment about me being orange and I have always noted that. And when we first got on Zoom, I was moving around the house, like, where can I set up? And my other spot is by a window and it was terrible too. So the light, the portable light you can actually set up for yourself is wonderful. I just gave up in the end. Like, I don't know where I look best. Doesn't matter.
Well, you do now. You'll do a 360 in that room, right?
Absolutely.
I agree, Christy. I've played around with the lights in here hundreds of times. I know my background is way too far away, but it's just where my desk is and I can't move it. So it is what it is. But better light would be better. I do notice, and I don't know if there's any statistics, and I have, you know, it depends who I'm meeting with and stuff, had the background that like Matt has and David, I forget what it's called. Yeah, and I wonder if there's any research or statistics or whatever about using that rather than just your regular background.
I don't have any statistics.
Even when it's messy like mine.
Well, so I do have a preference, and it goes back to the authenticity. It goes back to the genuine. Okay, so and this is not, again, shaming or critiquing at all. I'm not a big fan of virtual backgrounds, but I also love conversation starters. And so when I was coaching someone, he was an official from Parkland County, he was using virtual backgrounds all the time. And I said, well, what's in the background? And he let his backdrop down and he showed, and there's like a saxophone hanging on the wall, and there's like a U of A bear or whatever. And then there's like the keyboard and a guitar. And I was like, what's with all the musical instruments? And he's like, I'm in a band. I have a passion for music. And I was like, I'm covered in goosebumps because I was like, we are trying to get to know each other. And I feel like the background is an opportunity and can be done with a virtual, but I feel like it's an opportunity for conversation. So this is one of my favorite spots to stand because this is by a local artist. And on almost every single one of my calls, whenever I present, somebody writes in the notes, is that a Giselle Denis? And it's like, yes, as a matter of fact, it is. And like, we immediately have a conversation. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted one. And then I share the story that, well, fun fact, Giselle was actually my best friend in high school in Sherwood Park. We went to school many years ago. We've kept in touch ever since. I've always wanted one too. And finally, for Mother's Day last year, I got myself with Giselle Denis. And so what it does is it just creates a bit of a spark. I feel like utilizing your space is a connecting opportunity. It can be. And then I was like, I can fix everything, which I don't say anymore, because then I had, I'm vice president of the Edmonton Business Association, and I got on with the president, and he's like, hey, fix me. And he took off his background, and he's like in the corner of an unfinished basement. And I was like, I cannot fix that. Okay. So there is a purpose for virtual. And yes, I saw a hand go up there, Stacy. Okay. So I'm like, have at her, because there's some things that,
Yeah.
I'm talented, but I am not magical. Okay.
One of the things that I did when my background was even worse than it is now was I just put a photo of me on my horse out in the mountains, and that did the same thing, right? It was like, it was still personal, but it was not the mess that's back there now. So, you can kind of find a happy medium, I think.
You really can. You really can. I'm just saying that it's an opportunity, and I love to embrace opportunities. So I know we're out of time, and I like to be impeccable with my time. So I want to say thank you all for your attention today for this hour. It was super fun. I'm sorry I lost my voice. It's been a really long time since I've spoken for this long. The grant, just to let you guys know, there are some things closing and changing with it on February 28th. So I'm just letting folks know that if you are interested in having us come in and work with you and wanting to access that, it might be worthwhile to just set up a call, and I can give you the information. That's all. Information is power. So I did put my direct email in the chat there, and we've worked with a lot of nonprofits and have had super awesome success in getting them creating really great content from within.
That's great. Kat can't speak, so I'm going to say thank you. Do you have a quick question for Mad? And Stacy, I think, had something to say. And others can leave if you choose, because our time is up. Are you okay with that, Jessie?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. Quick question. Other than the real life, real people video productions, what other types of videos do you produce or make, Jessie?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a great opportunity to share. I appreciate that. We've been busy doing pretty much everything. So we've done 4 massive online award ceremonies for different chambers, colleges, and the book publishing awards. And so we've done online courses for entrepreneurs, like taking basically some of their stuff that they would do. We've done commercials, brand storytelling, safety videos, training videos, kind of you name it. It's been really busy with people are like, we used to do this in person and we now need to take this to video. We've done it. So we have both arms. We do it for you, the video production and the training. We teach you how to do some really great stuff from within.
Marketing, sales, explainers.
Yes.
Animated videos.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. How to make it. Yep. That's exactly what we do. The training program is for us to work with companies to teach them how to shoot and edit great videos from within, fast and easily. Okay. So whether you want to just use your phone or whether you want to, you have a camera that you want us to train you on, we teach you how to generate content that looks great on a regular basis. And that's the one the grant covers. Yeah.
Excellent. I'll be contacting you offline then to discuss this more. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Stacy.
Yeah, not a question really. I was just going to comment on the virtual backgrounds. We were, as an institution that went virtual here with online learning and staff all remote, we implemented the virtual backgrounds as a real means of trying to keep a little bit of continuity because we really were seeing it all. And so I think I agree, there is a definite place and time. And no one wants to see my unfinished basement, but totally agree. If it was better setting, it would. It's great to have those for sure.
Yeah, I like that continuity piece. Absolutely. When you're dealing with a faculty or, a variety of people, it's good for branding and things like that you're showing up with those same backgrounds. And we all know of or have seen the husband run across streaking in the house code. So that's avoidable, folks.
Thank you. And that's a good thing to think about, Stacy. I've never thought of it that way, but it is a good way for branding and stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to say goodbye because Kat can't seem to be speaking again.
Thank you,
I don't
Kat.
know why. But
for
thank
being
you so much, Kat, for organizing this and introducing us to Jesse. And to Jesse for spending your time and sharing with us. I thought it was wonderful. Things I didn't think about, obviously, with bright light here and no light here. I need to fix my lighting, but I'm retired, so I don't really care what I look like. But thank you very, very much for this. I think we all enjoyed it. And whoever is recording, if you can remember to turn it off when we're done, and then we'll put it online for others who couldn't make it today. But thank you very, very much. Much appreciated.